Another great success in Jeff's career was in '76, a couple years after that national championship. He was voted the team captain for the '76 Speedway League, National Speedway League. He was picked by Digger Helm to race on the Bakersfield Bandits, and he was the team captain along with Dub Farrell and Steve Nutter. They had the league winning team of that one-year event of the Speedway League, and the Bakersfield Bandits, they did really well. You know, Digger, he prepared that track excellent. He made it a blue groove. I rode that track. It's a beautiful, hard blue groove track. You use those 19-inch Carlisles, and that track just was beautiful, and it rode great. And the Bakersfield Bandits, led by Jeff Sexton, they only lost one or two meets all year at that particular track in Bakersfield. And like I say, Jeff Sexton was the team captain of the Bakersfield Bandits. And it was just a great program. And they beat the LA Sprockets by just a match or two. But it was exciting, and that was the only year they had the National Speedway League in America. I guess people wanted to see the star riders every night. And then the team racing folded after that, and they never had brought it back. But Jeff Sexton was a successful rider. I believe he was finished fourth in points. And he was just behind Bruce Penhall, Mike Bass, Dangerous Dub Farrell, his teammate, and he was fourth place in points out of the whole league. So Jeff Sexton was a phenomenal Speedway rider. I personally never met Jeff Sexton, and I believe I never raced against him, but he was just a fierce competitor. He was a hard charger. I used to watch him as a little boy, and I just remember how good of a rider he was. He was always charging for the lead. He didn't win every race, but you knew Jeff Sexton would be close. He'd be pushing it, and he would be competing for that victory. So Jeff Sexton was no slouch. He competed every time that he went out and raced. I believe he raced in the '75 Speedway Nationals at the Los Angeles Coliseum.
It's America's most exciting motorsports announcer, Larry Huffman. The track you're seeing now is 350 yards around the surface on the outside, 270 yards on the pole. It's a 1-foot surface with decomposed granite with approximately 30 tons of dirt mixed in on the top. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go now. What you've been waiting for all night long, and the introduction of the riders. They come out first. The big man, 275, Jim Fishback. The Bungalow Kid, Bumblebee, Bobby Schwartz. K1, Dangerous Dub Farrell. From Balboa Island, number 45, Bruce Penhall. 31, Wild Bill Cody. Number 34, Scott City.
And he did all these modifications to his bike, and I think they didn't work very well. He only won one race, and he only ended up with like 5 or 6 points or something like that. He didn't really do that well. He went in that particular event thinking he was going to win the championship, and his night pretty much fizzled. Didn't do very well. And that was one of his last Speedway Nationals. But Jeff Sexton was a hard charger. He had 3 major sponsors. One was Select Vans, I believe it was Anaheim. And the next sponsor, which I had the same sponsor as Jeff, was Torco Oil. Fabulous oil, Torco. I believe they're still in business. You know, my engine ran forever without blowing up or running on Torco oil. And the power of my engine was very strong. And Jeff's engine was very strong with that Torco oil. It was a fantastic oil. And I highly recommend that particular oil. It's not the largest name oil, but it was excellent. And then the third sponsor that he had was Bell Helmets. And he had some advertisement for Bell Helmets. And I believe he got us some money, got free helmets for racing with Bell Helmets. But Jeff Sexton was a phenomenal rider. And he was top of the class. One of the great Speedway riders of the 1970s, Jeff Sexton. I read this article once about Jeff Sexton. He said, I want to be a world champion. You know, like I said, he had that determination. I have no idea why Jeff never went to England and raced. He was definitely good enough to go over and race on the British League, possibly compete for a world championship. But something happened, you know. Maybe he didn't ride the long tracks as good as he thought he would, because he didn't do very well in the 75 Nationals, and he never went to England. But Jeff Sexton, if he put his mind to something, he probably could be very successful. Like many of the stars of the early days 70s Speedway, Jeff was a regular on the circuit. He raced on like the 50-yard line, and he was in all the handicap races. And Jeff Sexton was a regular on the circuit. He raced 5 nights a week, all the tracks, and he just was a hard charger. And he was a very successful, very determined young man. Jeff Sexton was a loving father and husband to his wife, Lori, and he had children, and he just was a good guy. You know, Jeff would always be around the house. He would be helping people. He'd just be doing things that was cool. He was a good person. I would have definitely liked to meet Jeff. But sadly, September 3rd, 2007, he had passed away, sadly. We lost a true hero, a legend in Jeff Sexton. He took his own life, which was very sad to hear. At age 52, Jeff Sexton passed away, and he just was an unbelievable talent and too young to pass away. Like we mentioned, a lot of our favorite Speedway riders of the 70s are gone for various reasons. And Jeff Sexton did have a short life at age 52, and we're so sad. And lots of people in the area where he lived was sad. They had memorials in the papers, and Jeff Sexton was truly beloved by many. And he has a wonderful family, a wonderful wife. Lori is still a friend of mine, and we chat every once in a while. And although we don't talk about Jeff every day, but she was a very loving wife and a good person, Lori Sexton. If you appreciate the shows, we honor these people who have fallen. And please don't be upset at the titles of these shows, but we want to honor the fallen Speedway riders who had passed away. And we appreciate them so much. And that's why we do these shows, to remember them, remember their name, and remember the great joy they brought into our lives. So please subscribe, like this show, and we appreciate you. And we appreciate the wonderful life of number 14. That was sexy Jeff Sexton. Rest in peace.